Possum.
Toot toot.
Toot toot, everybody.
Toot toot and rang dong.
It's Big Howell and Possum. At you for another week. It's Wednesday night. I got my Wednesday wet. I got my partner in crime, Mr. Possum. I'm, of course, Big Howell. And we're here to talk to you live. Give us a toot toot over here in the chat. Everybody hop on in that little chat box over there. Give us a toot toot. Let us know where you're tooting from.
Get in that chat box.
Get in that chat box. We're starting off tonight with a question from a viewer.
Yeah.
Casual Johnable sent us a little message. Casual Johnable, of course, one of our favorite non-guff delivering commenters up in the chat. He's one of our old-time favorite tutors.
True. He's squeaky clean. Don't have a mark of guff on him.
Nope. Just a nice, simple man with nothing but nice, simple things to say.
Just pure as the driven snow.
Now, Casual Johnable sent us a message to ask. He said he's at the State Fair. It's State Fair time. Kentucky State Fair.
Oh yeah.
Best state fair in all of the state. So anyway, sorry about that. Just a little joke there up off the top.
Oh, I thought it was delightful.
Oh, really?
I did.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe it was outside of my place.
No, nothing but delight.
To try to be funny with when we're talking about civil business.
Oh no.
Like the state fair. So, Casual Johnable wrote in with a question for Mr. Possum. He said, "Mr. Possum, what's your favorite fair food?" He asked about fair food.
He did.
Yeah. And not fair food like made in ethical ways. Fair food presented to you at the state fair.
Now, I don't think there's an ethical thing going on at the fair at all. You know, I think that a lot of it is dirty business. You got sheeps in there. You got prize winning hogs.
The state fair is a money laundering scheme, from what I understand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you put a ribbon on a hog and he don't get to touch that money. It kind of seems exploitative.
Yeah,
You know?
You know, I never thought about that, but that does seem like that.
I feel like it should.
You don't think they get better slop after that? Blue ribbon pigs probably getting better slop.
Think they got that high dollar slop?
Top shelf slop from here on out.
Top shelf, please. Toot toot. I earned it. I don't know if you noticed my ribbon.
They wear that blue ribbon all the time.
I'd like some wet slop, please. The slop that's not made from me and my own.
Sure.
You know, something good.
Well, that's the gourmet stuff when you're a pig. The stuff that's not made from your own children.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Wow.
Give me some of that.
Top shelf.
That's some weekend food right there.
And I'd have to say, ethically made.
Yeah, ethically not made from my own progeny.
You got to get a blue ribbon to not get served your own. That's the state fair. Well, Casual Johnable, I will say my favorite state fair food is the deep fried items that they, I don't know if you know this, if you look around, in the lost and found items, if you don't claim them in a couple of days, they deep fry them and they sell those.
Really?
Yes. So if somebody says, leaves a little baby sock or something like that, they deep fry it after a couple days, nobody claims it, and you get to have it.
You get to have a little child sock that fell off a child's foot.
It's deep fried.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
They deep frying everything. Shit. They deep fried Walkman. I've eaten a deep fried Walkman before. Mm-hmm. A little shoe.
Yep.
Let's see.
You've eaten a Walkman and a shoe.
Yes. A book.
Somebody dropped a book at the state fair?
Yeah, somebody dropped a Babysitter's Club, and I ate that.
Mm-hmm. Do you know which one it was?
I think it was Rhonda's Delight. Did you ever read that one, Big Al?
Oh, I read all of them. My sister had them all, and I read them. I was, just consuming every book in the house, and I read Rhonda's Delight. I read Cindy Goes to the Bakery. I read them all.
Cindy Goes to the Bakery is a serious one.
Yeah, it's real.
It's when she learns about cinnamon. It broke my heart. I really cried when I read that because she's just like, "Oh, what's this flavor? Oh," she cried a little bit. Oh, Cindyman.
Yep. She called it the spice from the East.
She did.
Yeah. We all learned a lot that day.
Oh, my God.
The day Cindy went to the bakery.
Well, what's your favorite fair food, Big Al?
My favorite fair food? Let me think. It's probably a Bud Light about yay tall.
Oh, cold beer?
Cold beer.
Cold beer.
Over there in the tent, while somebody's playing some Joan Jett right into my ear hole.
Oh, yeah.
Or Jack and Diane.
Oh, yeah, I got to suck on that chili dog.
Yeah, love hearing some classic American tunes. Sucking down an enormous Bud Light. I have had, I will say, I did have, a few years ago, I had one of those Krispy Kremes where they've chopped a Krispy Kreme in half, and in between the two layers of the Krispy Kreme, they've stuck a bacon cheeseburger in there.
Ooh, doggy.
So it's got a thick slice of cheddar cheese. It's got a nice big grilled patty, grilled fresh to order, and then some bacon and some lettuce and some tomato. And it's all served to you right there on a Krispy Kreme. The Krispy Kreme is the bun.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that kind of flavor sensation?
I have a snack erection.
Do you?
Yep, hard for that snack.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not very good.
No?
It's a little much. It just becomes slimy. And the thing is, cheddar cheese versus Krispy Kreme donut. What do you think's going to win? What do you think's going to win right there?
Win how? Like in existence? Like was one of them going to dissolve into death?
Let's say you put equal parts Krispy Kreme donut, and this is a glazed donut. It's not a cake. It's a glazed donut.
Sure.
And equal parts that and like a little block of yellow classic cheddar cheese. Sharp cheddar. You put those two things in your mouth and you chew them. What do you think you're going to feel more like you're eating? Are you going to feel more like you're eating a donut or more like you're eating cheddar cheese? What do you think?
The cheese.
Yeah, the cheese wins.
Yeah,
cheese wins. Cheese was the only thing that had any flavor in the whole thing, ultimately. So it was like I might as well, I was sitting there and thinking calorie-wise, I might as well have just eaten a big block of cheddar cheese.
They should just take the cheese away because it seems like the meat. You know, the Krispy Kreme has no chance in your mouth. It's going to dissolve quickly.
I do think if they took sort of some of the other stuff away, maybe leave the lettuce and tomato, maybe just for a little bit of crispness or something, but give you that, just give you that Krispy Kreme flavor, and the patty, and lettuce and tomato, and you got a pretty decent sandwich there. I think
like a BLT.
Be a sweet sandwich with a hearty hunk of meat in there. I think that would be pretty good.
I like the sound of that. Mm-hmm. That donut will hunt.
Mm-hmm. I've also had some of the fried up things. I've never eaten a fried up sock or a fried up Babysitter's Club book before. Never tried that before. But I have had a fried up Oreo.
Yeah.
And I've had a fried up Snickers, I think. Snicker bar or Twix bar or something like that.
It's good. It melts inside.
Yeah. No, it was quite nice. It's quite nice. I imagine a little bit better than a book.
I like a thrill.
Sure.
I like a thrill.
You like an experience. Probably a lot of texture in eating a book.
Yeah, and like I said before, you can tell if you're eating a good book or a bad book.
Mm-hmm. I
knew it was Rhonda. Could taste it.
So what? You didn't read any of it. You just bit into it, and you were like, "Oh, this tastes like that old Rhonda volume of the Babysitter's Club."
Yeah, it's a kind of telepathy I have, I guess.
That's amazing.
I'm like an X-Man.
Wow.
I can eat a book and read it.
So if I place a little piece of a page on your tongue, like we're doing LSD or something.
Yeah.
Right? So we're out on a spirit journey together out in the woods.
Tight.
And I take like the wisdom of all of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Quran, of the Bible. I take all the wisdom of the great books.
Yes.
Of all time, of the Talmud and the Confucius thing, whatever that's called. And I slice those up into little squares, and we go out into the woods, and I just place a little slip of each page on your tongue, like a little drop of LSD or something.
Right.
Would you gather from that experience? Would you get all the input from all those different books, you think?
I think that it would be like reading it, which, it means it wouldn't mean necessarily that I absorbed it.
Right.
It just means
Sure.
I read it.
Right.
I could just as easily be bored by it or not understand it or spit it out even.
Sure. You could find it just terrible.
I could find it disgusting.
Sure. That's interesting.
It's
Interesting to think about.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So you maybe absorb information about the world more through your mouth than you do through your eyes and your ears.
I go into this world mouth first.
That is fascinating. I'm learning new things about you all the time. I learn things through looking at them and hearing them and talking to them.
Well, I say taste first.
Right.
Ask questions at
That
another
makes
time.
you know what that makes a lot of sense because the first time we met, I don't know if you recall this, but you licked me up and down.
Right. And
I mean every inch. Your tongue was all over.
And I appreciated your patience.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
letting me finish licking you.
Right. Right.
And I wasn't yet dressed like a scarecrow. I was just a common naked possum. But
Sure.
I had to make sure that you were cool.
So when you meet a person, the way you discover whether they're cool or not, way you figure out if they're a legit homie or a false friend, is you just tongue them everywhere.
Right.
You just get that tongue in every inch. You just boys to men them all over their body.
Sometimes till the break of dawn.
Wow.
Yeah. If they'll hold still long enough, I can really learn a lot.
Right. Now, what if somebody doesn't hold still long enough? But
Sounds
you
like
feel
they
like is there some mystery to that? Because sometimes it's compelling to not find out everything about somebody right away.
I
I was very generous with you, but if I wanted to maintain some mystery, if I wanted you to not know everything about me, I might have just let you get a little taste of my arm and then walked away and had you thinking he seemed pretty cool.
Here's the thing.
What's that?
Let's say I meet a fella, and I'm not, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna have a show together." I'm gonna be like, "I'm licking you up and down because I gotta see exactly what's up. We're gonna spend a lot of time." Now, if somebody says, "Hey, I need to sit next to you on the bus for a few hours," I just kind of lick their face.
Sure.
I don't need to know every little thing.
Right.
It's all...
So if you get on a plane or a bus and somebody's got to sit next to you, you just need to lick their entire face.
Yeah, just to make sure they're
right.
safe.
Yeah. Okay.
I can learn a little something about them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is interesting. That's wild. That's cultural differences. That's what we're all about. We're about exploring diversity, reaching across spatial lines, and understanding one another even better. So let's see. Let's get some folks over here in the chat. Anybody got any more state fair questions? We're big fans of the Kentucky State Fair. We've both been a few times.
Time or two, yeah. It's all
Let
cool
us
in the
know
game.
let us know what you think of the State Fair. Let us know if you've been this year, if you're planning on going this year. Give us or if you're in a different state. Let us know when that state fair is. I think some of them are at different times of the year.
Let us know if you're a prize-winning hog.
Give us a toot if you're a prize-winning hog. If you failed to win a prize, go ahead and give us a toot as well.
I'd like to hear your tale.
Yeah, yep. We'd like to hear all about it. So hop over in here in the chat. Also, don't forget tonight we are going to be debating ghosts, real or not real. And tonight, Mr. Possum and I will be determining through the process of rigorous debate for once and for all the right answer. Are ghosts real or not?
Finally.
So go ahead and give us a message in the chat if you have an opinion on that as well, or if you have a question about ghosts, or or if you're just not sure, or if you got to vote yes or no.
If you're a ghost,
Got a poll going over on Facebook and over on Twitter as well on my pages over there, so you can vote too. You can join the community.
If you're a ghost and you vote, you're going to prove my point precisely, that you're real.
Right. And and presumably there are more ghosts than people. So if more people vote no, that means that there weren't any ghosts to vote yes, which is going to mean that I'm right, that ghosts aren't real.
Good point.
Yep. So it's, there's a lot at stake here. But once again, give us a toot toot over there in that old chat. Just give us a toot toot. Give us a toot toot.
Just the tiniest toot toot.
Just tiniest little toot.
All lowercase.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hey there.
A gentle toot. A tender toot toot.
A tender toot. That is one of my favorite Babysitters Club books. A Tender Toot.
A tender toot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one was about fingering.
Little Jennifer and the. This is bad. Grown-up Jennifer and the Tender Toot.
Right.
Yeah. Because they were adults in the Babysitters Club.
You got to be an adult to have a job.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. What are these people doing? Getting jobs if they're not fully grown adults. All right, folks. We're also going to talk about current events tonight.
Oh, of course. We got to stay up on stuff.
We got to stay up on current events. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot that's happening out there in your neck of the woods and mine. Not politically, of course. There's really not been a lot going on politically lately.
Everything's normal and quiet.
Weird. It's weird. It's weird having such a low-key political time to live in.
Yeah, it's very peaceful.
It's just amazing. Everybody's just walking around agreeing with each other, smiles on their faces.
The country's united.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Possum.
Oh, hey there, Big Al.
I heard you went fishing this weekend.
I did.
How'd it go?
Awful, actually.
Bad. Did you catch any fish?
I did, but I threw them all back, Big Al.
You threw all your fish back?
Yep. Well, the first fish I catch, I pull them off the hook.
A hungry little possum like you threw every fish back.
Well, listen to my tale.
Okay. All right.
I tell you what, so it goes like this. All right, the first fish I catch in my little boat, pull him off the hook, and I'm about to bash his little brain in with my fish hammer.
Right. That's like the humane thing to do.
And this dang fish goes, "Please, Mr. Possum, please throw me back in the water, for I cannot die today." Oh, like that, you know.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. So dramatic.
That's what I said. And I said, "What'd you talk about fish?" And the fish said, "Well, today's my son's birthday, and I have been a deadbeat father for much of the boy's life, and I must make it up to him today and go to his birthday party."
Wow, that's a pretty compelling reason. Like a little, like redemption, you know?
Yeah, he got me with a goddamn redemption story, right in the heart.
Also, talking really proper for a fish. Like,
very proper.
Like, just gotta...
With a hook in his face.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't talk that good.
For I cannot die today. For I have been a deadbeat father. That's amazing.
It's like, damn, is this Bill Shakespeare? Shit. He got me, so I let him go. I let that one go. I was like, well, you know, how often it's just gonna happen.
Good for you.
So then I catch me another fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull it off the hook, and I'm about to beat his little head in with my hammer. And it says, "Oh, please, Mr. Possum, oh, please throw me back in the water, for I cannot die today."
Wow. Again.
I'm like, "Come on, buddy. What is it, fish?" And he says, "Mr. Possum, at this very moment, I was on my way to the trial of the fish that murdered my wife."
What?
And the district attorney says, "Without my testimony, there can be no conviction. Please let me go and put this horrible murderer away for good."
The fish that murdered the other fish's wife?
On trial.
And they're on they got courts down, they got jails down there?
Fish court. I presume.
I didn't know they had jails.
I didn't either, but I have, like...
Wow.
You know, I've seen a gavel in the water, and I've wondered what that was about. It's fish court.
Fish court.
So I'm like, shit, this one's got me with the story even more compelling than the first one.
That's true.
So I let him go, too. What am I to do, you know?
Yeah. Right thing to do.
I think so.
Good on you.
Thanks.
Good on you, Mr. Possum.
So then I cast my reel out there whoosh, for the third time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I catch a fish. I'm pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm about to smash that fish with my fish hammer.
Uh-oh.
And he says, "Please, Mr. Possum, please throw me back in the water, for I cannot die today." I'm like, "God damn it, I'll talk this shit."
Holy cow, another one.
I said, "Look, I'm getting real tired of these fish stories. This one better be good, Charlie." And the fish said, "Mr. Possum, my people have worked for centuries on a monument to commemorate our struggles. It is truly a sight to behold and nearly completed. But due to unsafe working conditions and long hours, a labor dispute has sprung up."
A labor dispute.
Yes. "And I believe I am the only fish trusted enough by both the administration and the workers to resolve this issue. And if you do not let me go, I fear this testament will fall into ruin and our history will be lost."
The history of this fish people, or these fish, will be lost.
They want a goddamn monument, you know?
Wow, that is incredible. So fish got these little monuments down there? Wow. Whew. You'd have to let that one go too, as far as I can see.
It's a whole new world down
Mm-hmm.
there. I didn't expect it.
So what'd you say? What'd you say to that one?
You talking about labor dispute? And I said, "A labor dispute, huh? So you guys are union?" And he says, "Union? No, we're guild." Toot toot.
Toot toot.
How about that?
How about that? Wow. So did you beat that one in with the hammer?
That one, I took his life. Yeah.
You didn't care. You didn't care about their monument.
Nah. I mean, I had already heard a lot of wacky shit, and a monument didn't much really move me. I had to say.
Made for a good punchline though, that he's in the guild.
Yeah.
Did you thank him for the punchline that you'd say, "Hey, I'll be able to tell this story on Big Howell and Possum"?
Oh,
because you said guild.
I did thank him, but it was like he was already dead. It's kind of like in the Last of the Mohicans when he's got that deer in his arms and he's already split his throat and he's like, "Thank you so much for feeding my people." I did that with the fish. I was like, "Thanks for helping my yarn."
Yes, thank you for giving me a good yarn to tell on this Wednesday's Big Howell and Possum. Thank you, Great Spirit Mother, for giving me a good pun on the word guild.
He served a purpose, and I don't know if he really would appreciate it if I told him in his last moments either. So it would have been like he had another story or something, you know?
Yeah. I wonder if these fish were being on the level with you, or if they were making that up. That's one thing I wonder about.
You never know.
You never know with fish. But folks, you never know with fish.
They tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
I trust the living fish and the living fish only.
Right. Because that one has been, that one doesn't have, there's a lot of mystery with, and a lot of, it seems like ulterior motives. Like you can't really share a common interest or a common society with an animal what lives under the water, under the sea. So once you pull them up onto your boat, you can't really trust anything that they say or do. Whereas the living fish has been plucked out of that world and placed into ours and lives right here among us.
Yeah.
Nailed to the wall, singing classic hits of radio.
The living fish has no reason to manipulate you or lie to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's somehow living and breathing and singing "Put Me Back in the Water," but playfully, not like a real plea.
Right. There's no angle with the living fish.
Right. These fish that are coming up into my boat, they all got a story because they want to live, and they see me hungry with my fish hammer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about current events? Should we get into that?
Let's get into the news. Give
us a toot over here in the chat. It's Wednesday night. Now, it is a very nice night outside, I will say. Here in the Nevada desert, it's beautiful tonight. I've been checking the weather radar over there in Louisville, Kentucky, where you and I are from. And it appears that the weather could not be beat tonight. But we're down here in the desert shooting a show because we love y'all. So give us a holler, give us a thank you. How about a thank you over in the chat? Let's do that.
That'd be nice.
Let's call for a thank you. Give us a thank you over in the chat. And let's see. Let's head on over to Bagless News. Your one source for news. Let's see. Like most Americans, when we want news, we head over to Ted Bagless News. And that's where we find out what's going on in the world. If you want more lifestyle news, you can go over to Ted Bagless 2, your second source for news. And that's more like, I don't know what he's got over there. He's got like more like sort of trend pieces and think pieces and stink pieces and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pieces of stink.
Pieces of stink. All right. So our first headline tonight from tedbaglessnews.net is breaking. And he always puts breaking on the first one.
On the first one.
That's how he draws you into the page. He says, breaking. Once again, the time cops have trampled Ted Bagless's garden. All right.
Oh,
well,
God, again with the time cops.
He's always talking about these time cops. Now, let's see. We got a picture of what happened to his garden here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at that. Oh, sorry. Look at that. Look at his garden.
It's a mess, to be sure.
It's a mess. It is definitely somebody has been through there just willy-nilly. Somebody's run through that garden, and of course, Ted Bagless loves to blame the time police, who he says are always chasing time criminals through his yard.
Yeah.
And I, I don't know. Maybe that's true. What do you think about that? You think this isn't just some local riffraff, some local hoodlums or whatever? You think this is actual time traveling police trying to run down a time traveling criminal? Is that what you think?
Buddy, I go back and forth on this.
Okay.
On one hand, I think Bagless is delusional, right? He don't really get out of his house much, and to him, the youth of today might dress so futuristic that he thinks that there's some kind of time police chasing each other through his yard.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like the Back to the Future 2 thing, where the kids are running around looking all weird, and you might think that kid's got to be that brim is flat.
Yeah.
That kid's got to be from the future.
Right. He doesn't understand the trends, and he just jumps to a future time cop conclusion. The other thing is, well, what if he saw one of them do like a Van Damme split?
Sure.
And he's like, that's time copy. Or what if he saw somebody with an old-timey Civil War gun or even a futuristic gun? I mean, he might have his reasons, and if he would come out of his house, we could ask him.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good question. I mean, I suppose this would seem more, for me, I have no doubt that a time cop has tracked down a time criminal in Ted Bagless's yard, because this happens very frequently. But it's just every time it happens, he says, without even whether or not he's even there, whether or not he even sees anything, if his garden's been trampled, Ted Bagless is always just saying, look, the time cops are back.
Right. He jumps to that conclusion so often that you have to, stop for a minute doubting him.
It's a little bit Boy Who Cried Time Cop.
Yes.
If we're being
Classic.
Real.
Boy, would that be a good children's book.
Boy Who Cried Time Cop?
Yes. Oh, my God. I'd love that.
Yeah. So it'd have to be like a town of time criminals, though. Yeah. It'd have to be a town that's like mining time from somebody else. Stealing time.
If I may, and I think that you'll agree with me here, if you're
working the time mines.
The time mines. If you're watching this show, if you're a fan of the show, why don't you just make us an illustration of the Boy Who Cried Time Cop?
The Boy Who Cried Time Cop.
Send it in.
Please do.
I'd love to see it. Give me a glimpse.
Illustration. We are going to have some fan art on an episode here soon. If you have fan art that comes from any other things we've talked about as well, go ahead and do that.
You can send it to us on YouTube.
If you want to do some fan art where you recreate the moment when I met Mr. Possum and he licked me up and down all night long, if you want to do that up as a illustration, I'm sure that would be fun for you and
I'd
fun
love
for
to-
everybody to see.
Love to see it. Look, I've got a short lifespan. I don't got long to live. I'd love to see some funnies.
All right, we got a toot from Jazzarino over in the chat.
Toot.
How you doing, Jazzarino? Hello, Jonas Wilson also got a toot for us. Now, if either of you see any, if either of you see any clues here in this garden to indicate that was definitely time cop activity, go ahead and let us know, because we're just growing a little skeptical of the bagless, just a little skeptical. All right, let's see. Let me get rid of the garden image and move on to our next headline of the night. Old Faithful prepares for the 50-year squirt.
Oh.
It's a big squirt, folks. This one's big.
This squirt's been a building and a brewing for some time, hasn't it?
Well, you know, it moves in cycles. And like the weather, like waves. And every 50 years, Old Faithful, down there in Yellowstone Park.
Yes, sir.
Old Faithful, every 50 years, Old Faithful gives us that 50-year squirt, that big one. Oh, and it's big.
Does it make a noise? Does it go like,
oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this one's got a real noise to it. It's sort of like, it sounds like a, well, it sounds like a balloon that's been let go in the room, going, but like real big.
Oh.
If that balloon was real big. That combined with maybe like whale sound, and then a huge gushing motion where thousands and thousands of gallons of water are shot up into the air in the big 50-year squirt. It's a big event. Everybody comes from miles around to come see it and see the water shoot miles up into the air. You ever been to the big squirt?
Not that big squirt, no, sir.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm not 50 years old, so I wasn't here for the last one.
Yeah,
And you are of indeterminate age.
correct. I'm not sure.
We don't really know.
No one cares.
Right.
Not really sure. I've seen big
Do you feel
squirts.
like you were around 50 years ago?
Name something that happened 50 years ago. Run it by me.
What's 50 years? So that would be, the moon landing.
I was around when the moon was there.
The moon landing.
Oh,
The guys who landed on the moon,
humans
supposedly.
on the moon.
Yeah. When they supposedly landed on the moon.
I think I saw that on TV.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Wow. Okay. So maybe you're 50 years old.
Maybe it's a past life. I don't know, but I feel like I've got that memory.
Curious.
Isn't that curious?
Yeah. I mean, you might have just seen it on a rerun.
Maybe.
You might have been walking past a TV store.
I'm not sure.
You know how you walk past a TV store and they got all those TVs up in the window?
Yeah.
And they're all showing the moon landing
Is
all
it
at the same time?
tragic? Is it tragic that I don't know?
No.
It doesn't feel tragic. I don't really
It's
care.
not tragic at all. I think you're living a linear time and linear memories are not important. You're living in a sort of hazy dream with all kinds of just weird stuff going on all around you. Right now, you're alive for what's going to be one of the biggest squirts of all time. You get to be here on the planet when the planet squirts out something real big.
Yeah, it would be greedy of me to want another squirt of that magnitude.
Right.
It's fine.
We get the one squirt per life.
It's fine
And
with
that's
me.
the way it's meant to be.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. So, this is not a picture of the. This is not a picture of the squirt of the 50-year squirt, but this is just what Old Faithful looks like normally. So if you imagine that times, I think it's times like 20 or something like that. That's your 50-year squirt.
Squirt McGirt. Mm-hmm. Love it.
And then of course there'll be guys trying to ride it and stuff,
Like in a chair. We put their chair on top of it. And they kind of read a book or a newspaper and they act like they don't know what's coming. They're like, whoa!
Yeah, they put like a little toilet down.
Oh, I love that.
They put like a little inflatable toilet down right over Old Faithful. And then they sit down and they take a big, comically oversized newspaper.
Right.
That they hold kind of upside down.
Yeah.
So they get themselves looking like a real clown,
Looking the fool.
Looking quite the fool.
Yeah.
And then this is the big joke every 50 years. The 50-year squirt comes, knocks them, hell, they go flying up into the air.
And their pants are down, no doubt.
Oh, their pants are definitely down.
Love it.
And then they end up landing on some big, pine tree, top of some pine tree with their butt up in the air.
Help!
Pants down.
Yeah, help me.
Yep.
Oh, God.
It's always the same, every 50 years.
What a fool.
Yep. All right, so what do we have next? Oh, this is good. This is good news.
It is?
This is the good news here. So advances in technology have been made, and Ted Baglis recommends, and I recommend. I think this is a great new product, great new lifestyle choice that you can make. Ladies and gentlemen, you can defeat sleep once and for all with 8-hour sonic hydration. Now this is very simple. All right, all you need to do is get one of these sonic hydration tanks. Look at that, okay? You see that?
Yeah.
So we got ourselves a tank, and it's got some speakers that are right up on the tank. And you climb into that tank. Now, instead of going to sleep, because we all don't you hate how much you got to sleep in this life?
You want a real answer?
Yeah, I want a real. Dude, aren't you sick of being a slave to sleep? Are you not? Would you not rather get that time back?
I suppose. I mean, I like dreams, but I'd like to choose when I have a dream, not every night.
Sleeping is it totally interrupts your rhythm. It drags you into nightmares.
Yes.
It stresses people out how some people can't get the sleep that they want to get, and so they stress themselves out about the fact that they're not getting to sleep. You climb into bed, your wife's pulling the covers away from you all the dang time.
Oh yeah.
Sleep is a real frustration for a lot of people.
My wife gives me the wrong kind of tug every night, buddy.
Yeah, that is, boy, you said it. You said it. Now, if you're sick of this, if you're sick of what sleep does, the way it rules our lives, the way it takes our time and our energy, and it gives us back just stress and feelings of inadequacy because you can't fall asleep fast enough, you can eliminate the tyrant of sleep from your life completely by just spending 8 hours a day in a sonic hydration tank that those speakers are pumping essentially every audible frequency into the tank, very loud, and you just experience that. You get sonically hydrated. You step out, you feel fresh as anything.
And you got to be in there for 8 hours.
8 hours is the preferred amount of time. You could do a little bit less, but it doesn't work as well.
Well, it sounds tight.
Yeah, you want to try it sometime?
Yeah, I get in there.
You should come over and try mine sometime. It's great.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'd like to get my day back.
Yeah. And it's regimented. You just get into that thing. You know what you do? You toss the old phone out. You don't keep the phone in there, right? So you're not looking at Twitter or whatever. You're not keeping yourself distracted. You just stare at the wall of this tank and hear every audible frequency very loud for 8 hours. That's all. That's it.
I like the sound of that.
And it's just from start to finish. There's just a time when it starts and a time when it ends. And you don't have to feel bad about not falling asleep at the right time or whatever. And you'll never have to sleep again. You'll get those hours back that you've spent rolling around in the bed trying to get the blanket from your wife.
Has anybody ever accidentally fallen asleep in that chamber?
No, not with the music. Well, it's not music, but not with the frequencies that loud.
Okay.
No. I suppose if the power went out, you'd be in danger of falling asleep.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm off with sleep now.
Yeah. Yeah, you
That'd
don't
be
want to.
bad.
Yeah. So, and sonically, you're getting 100% of your required frequencies per day, every day.
Finally. That sounds tight.
Yeah.
You got one?
The sonic hydration chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, you can come over anytime. You can use it.
Well, I'll have to use it in the 8 hours you're not using it unless there's room for two in there.
No, there's not room for two. It's very small. It's very cramped.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll want to use it in the yeah.
Well, we're on opposite sleep schedule. We'll make that work.
We'll make it work,
I
ladies
sleep
and gentlemen.
during the day.
All right, so let's get the headlines back here. Oh, this is interesting news. This is interesting. This is very interesting. So the Bagless Ted Bagless, the founder of TedBaglessNews.net, your one source for news, who tends to find all these ways to keep ending up in his own newspaper. You know what I mean? He ends up in his own news all the time.
Yeah, he does.
So this is, Ted has an effect that he's been studying. It's like a psychological effect, right? And he's got a headline here that says, Bagless effect overtakes Dunning-Kruger effect in importance. So this is a big development in the psychological community, in the psychology community.
I don't much follow this stuff.
You don't follow.
Make
Okay,
it simple.
let's break it down. Okay, so do you guys give us a toot over in the chat if you know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is? But this is a commonly referenced phenomenon in psychology called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And let me just pull that up real quick. So you see here what we've got. What we got sort of popped up behind us is, and let me actually, you know what I'm going to do?
Scooch it over.
I'm going to scooch it over a little bit. Oops. I'm going to try to scooch this thing over a little bit. Where is it? I must be on the wrong image here. Hang on. What am I doing? Well, you know what? Never mind.
You know what? How about this?
I'm gonna. Whoa! You're disappearing into the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Just so you can read it.
I see. Whoa! Look at that. Okay, so. All right. Ooh, this is fascinating. Okay. Anyway, so the Dunning-Kruger effect. You see, you got a XY axis. You got confidence and competence, and then you got it gets really, really big in confidence. Back when you're still pretty dumb in terms of competence. So basically it's saying it's basically saying the stupider you are, the more convinced you are of how great you are. And then as you get less stupid, you start to see some of your own failings and you eventually build your way back up. You eventually build your way back up to being confident in your own brilliance. Now, this is a well-documented, well-researched effect, but Ted Bagless thinks he's got one better, and he's convinced of this. So he's developed what he calls the Bagless effect. Now, look here at the Bagless effect. It's a little simpler of a line. We got going like that, and it basically the Bagless effect describes the phenomenon of what a person's historical significance is. Now you've got down here on the horizontal axis, we've got no historical significance to average historical significance. To where I'm sitting, it's huge historical significance, and that seems to correlate like pretty consistently with the number of Terminators you've seen in real life. So I think, Mr. Possum, you can come back. We've now seen what these two charts demonstrate.
What are we talking about? Terminators?
We're talking about Terminators. So what Bagless is saying is basically how historically significant you are as a person in your biography, and how much you matter, how much when they write the history books of right now, how much they're going to be talking about you. how much of that is dependent on the number of Terminators you've seen in your lifetime.
Okay. What about the?
Did I explain that clearly?
I get it.
Okay.
The more
All right.
the more Terminators you see, the more tight you are.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
What about that old bum?
As opposed to the dumber you are, the smarter you think you are.
Right.
Right. So he's just saying this is a better measure of of people.
Now, what about a guy that's not really aware of what he's seeing? For example, there's always the guy on the bum on the bench, right? And he sees the Terminator appear, and he goes, "Oh, hey, buddy, you just see a real bright light." You know, that guy?
That guy who's just like...
He's not sure.
He's like, I'm just drunk, or whatever, right?
Is he significant?
Sure.
So he will have a name in history.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, how many times has that happened?
Does
that happen to him all the time?
All the time.
He's like...
Every night.
Like, one weekend, he sees, like, the DeLorean... like run into the theater, and one weekend he sees the Terminator come back, and every time he's like, ah.
Yeah, and then he sees like Danny Glover
Except he
chasing
probably
a predator.
forgets. He probably forgets.
He sees everything.
I feel like he's more like at least in the context of what we're talking about, he's almost more like a I hate saying this, but he's more like a prop or something, because he's not going to remember and nobody's going to believe him. You know what I mean? Whereas Ted Baglis is saying, because Ted Baglis has seen a lot of Terminators. I'll point that out as well. He's always seeing Terminators.
His daddy got killed by a Terminator.
Well, my dad got killed by a Terminator too. I don't know if you recall that. Now this is where the Baglis effect. I have a big question about the Baglis effect because as you recall, my father was shot and killed by a Terminator, but I have never seen a Terminator. So I don't know where that puts me in historical significance on the Baglis effect, because think about this for a second. One of my family members was killed by a Terminator.
Yes, sir.
Which, when your parents get killed by a Terminator, from all we know of Terminator behavior, that means you're pretty significant if your parents get killed, right? Because that's what they do. They come back and they kill the parents of the historically significant. However, this Terminator made a point of killing my dad when I was, a boy, when I was already around. So he didn't care. So I feel like that's a point against my historical significance.
Oh, he doesn't.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, he doesn't give a shit if you're there or not.
He didn't. He could have come back, 10 years earlier, done away with my old man, and things would be a lot simpler for him if they were worried about me at all. The fact that they didn't do that tells me they don't care about me one bit.
Ooh, here's a thought. What if you're so instrumental to helping Terminators in history at some point, and they knew that your dad would someday kill you, that they killed him before he could kill you, so that you could grow up and accidentally drop some vial or something that kills all the rest of humans and saves the Terminator money from having to go out and kill people? You just drop a flu vial in 2025 that kills all the humans. But in 2024, your father murdered you.
Well, now I'm worried. If that's the case, that's bad. Right?
Well, just don't be bobbling around no flu vials.
Dang it. So I got to give up my flu collection?
Yeah, you better.
I got to stop collecting flus, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and don't juggle with them and stuff. Don't take them out and dust them like you do when you're drunk.
I've been collecting flus for 20 damn years. I just got to sell that whole thing. Well, anyway, hit me up in the chat if you would like to buy some flus. I've got a bunch. I got a bunch of rare flus. I got a bunch of flus they don't have cures for. I got a lot of very sensitive experimental flus that they don't even know what would happen with them. But Mr. Possum does have a point. If Terminators aren't worried about me, I might be helping the Terminators. I might be helping the Terminators right now. From what we know of time science, I probably am. Yeah. Everything I'm doing right now is probably helping them.
I could be a Terminator.
Hell, selling these flus is probably helping them. I don't know.
No, I think
Who's
that's
to
smart,
say now?
Because it keeps you from bobbling them. You're very clumsy.
We got to get to our debate.
Okay.
But we got one more. Let's see. We got one more. How do I get rid of the things? We got one more headline here, and it's Sling Shirt. The fun, fast, new way to gobble that girt. Sling Shirt.
Oh!
Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this?
Have not.
It's fun stuff, man. It's so what we've got here is it's a new thing for mostly for kids, but you can do this too at work. It's a slingshot that slings yogurt into your mouth.
That's
It's called a sling shirt.
For your own mouth?
Yeah. You just pull it back, and you gobble that girt right up.
Ooh.
Pretty good, right?
Sexy.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I like it. I'm intrigued by it. So this is all the rage now. Everybody's consuming their girt this way. Everybody's dipping their. So what you do is you take the sling shirt and you dip it into the yogurt like that, like you see, and then you just pull it back and open that horker wide. Let it go, and boom, you got a mouthful of yogurt right there.
Now,
mouthful of sling shirt, I should say.
To my mind, there are two ways to eat this yogurt.
Okay.
All right. One is you do the classics where you take your tongue and you cover the back of your mouth and you sling shirt it in, and then it hits the back of your throat and it splashes all over the inside of your mouth, and you get a taste sensation that covers your tongue and your teeth,
sure,
in the roof of your mouth and under your tongue, and it's a yogurt party.
Mm-hmm.
Method two is when you just aim it right down towards your food hole,
mm-hmm,
and it just goes straight down. You barely taste it, but you've got a bolus of nutritious yogurt that goes right down straight to your stomach.
That's if you're on the go.
Right.
If you're not really doing it for the flavor experience.
If you just got to get it.
I think I have to sneeze. Hold on.
Oh, the suspense.
Keep talking
the
about the
suspense, though. I felt it.
Man, I didn't do it. It's lost.
Leaping Terminators.
That sneeze is lost to the ages.
Jumping Jasper.
Oh, that's a shame. Maybe I'll smell my Wednesday wet, see if I can get that sneeze back.
That would mean you're allergic to your own drink.
Oh, I'm definitely, yeah. I'm allergic to almost everything.
Does it make you puke?
From what I can tell. All right, folks. That's it for Bagless News. We got the sling shirt. Let's go back here. All right. Thank you to Jazzarino and Jonas Wilson joining us over there in the chat tonight. We are going to do a debate now.
I believe it's time for our debate. Yes,
it's time for a debate. I'm going to pull up the results to our poll after we've done our opening arguments.
Sure. And of course, the title of our debate is Ghosts, Real or Not Real?
Yep.
I will be arguing, yes, they are real. And Mr. Big Howell here will be saying, no, they're phony.
Mm-hmm. That's the debate. Ghosts, real or not real? Mr. Possum is going to try to argue that they're real. I'm going to try to argue that they're not real. We are now going to flip a coin for who gets to go first.
Tight.
And we have 2 minutes for opening comments, opening statement.
As always, I am Tails.
You are Tails. Here we go.
What we got?
Tails!
Tails. I shall go first.
All right.
Here we go.
Clock is set. Start!
Ghosts, goblins, ghouls. Are they real? Are they? I mean, what kind of a childish fool believes in a floating sheet that lives in your closet that just runs around needing stuff, or maybe haphazardly trying to murder you, leaving the skateboard out? What kind of a fool would believe that? I would say, sir and ma'am, that ghosts are very much real. My reasoning is such as this. If ghosts aren't real, then what is that moaning sound that I hear? That echoey moaning sound that I hear every night coming from inside of my beanbag chair. I think I've finished my argument in 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you very much. Big Howell, the floor is yours for your opening
The floor is
argument.
mine. All right, folks. Go ahead and hit start on that. Okay, folks. Tonight, I am very happy with the way that this question has been phrased tonight. Ghosts, real or not real? That is because we're not talking about ghosts, do they exist or not, because I have taken the negative position. I do not believe in ghosts, but I cannot prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that something that a negative is true. I cannot prove that somewhere on Earth, on a little island somewhere, there's not one little ghost standing there. I can't prove that for sure. But what I can do is tell you that ghosts as we understand them are not real. They're not legit. They are bullshit, if I can use that expression. They're not cool. And the way I know this is because the way people talk about them, they're not cool about them. They're not chill about them. Every one of us knows that our brains don't work. Every one of us knows that we have no idea what's happening around us all the time. Every one of us knows that we forget details to stories. Every one of us knows that we see things and we misunderstand what we're seeing. Yet when someone tells you a story about meeting a ghost, they will always tell you, I saw a ghost, and not acknowledge that a million other things could have happened, and that even if they did see a ghost, that ghost was being very vague and very bullshitty, and not giving you a clear story, not being a real friend, not being a real person interacting with you. So I feel very confident, I have 12 seconds left, I feel very confident saying that ghosts are not real. They are a made-up fake thing that's not real.
Well, on time. Eloquently put, I must say.
Thank you. I like what's this moaning also, though. That's a compelling argument. I'll give Possum credit. That is what is this moaning is probably the best argument you can make for ghosts.
Sure. I've
Now,
thought
see,
up
for
and
me,
down about it.
For me, all right. So if you were to tell me that you had pancakes for breakfast on Sunday, right?
Oh, happy day.
You were to tell me that you were for sure that you had pancakes on Sunday. And then I opened up the big book of pancakes. You know, big holy book of pancakes.
Sure.
And I could demonstrate to you categorically and empirically that you did not have pancakes on Sunday, but that you had either dreamt it or that you had had pancakes some other day, some previous day that week. You would just go, oh, of course, I must be mistaken. I must be remembering that wrong. However, if you tell me a story about you bumbling around in the dark, half asleep, with the moonlight coming through some sketchy, foggy window, and you claim to be seeing a specter, an apparition, and I say, I don't know, that sounds a little dubious to me, You'll say, no, I saw a ghost. So that's where I think it falls to me, is it just seems, even if you did see something, you most likely saw like a collection of dust drifting around in the wind that happened to take, a Victorian era woman's form for a moment. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, the old Scrooge argument, more gravy than grave in you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, I will say that I believe ghosts come to you in times when you are foggy because they don't have the same motives that a human being does. I think that they feed on confusion and doubt. I think that they...
Which speaks to my point, that they're fake, that they're bullshit, that they're not giving you a clear They're not giving you something. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Where are you going with that?
Well, they're not giving you something. They don't owe you nothing. They're dead. They don't have a job. They're not clocked in as Ghosts Incorporated. They don't have to give you nothing.
That's compelling.
They're being selfish. They like to pop up, show themselves to you, and then pop out and drive you crazy.
You know what's the interesting thing about ghosts, though? Like, people are fascinated by them, and it's because it's like when you were talking earlier about needing to lick literally every inch of my body when we first met, so that you would know something about me. Ghosts have this mystery about them that seems like it's that seems like it's deliberate, and it's because, like, you brought up Marley, right?
Yes, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley, right? So he is not a scary ghost, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
in my opinion, he's not that scary.
He's not malicious.
Because he shows up, he tells you what's going on. He's just like an old friend that shows up. And if ghosts are like that, then they sort of cease to be. If all ghosts were like that. Now, he is scary because he represents the torment that Scrooge himself might feel.
Right.
Right.
Chains.
But, yeah, the chains and so on. But if all ghosts were like that, if the entire ghost culture was a little more real, a little more legit, a little more on the level with us, and if they all came to us and just said, instead of being spooky for 2 hours in a movie and waiting for you to figure out, oh, we got to find out that this guy ran over this little girl or whatever, like, instead of giving us all this mystery and being spooky and being vague, if they were just real, if they were just on the level, we wouldn't be scared of them. We'd just be like, oh, that's a ghost over there. Those are handy. Those guys can come in handy sometimes because they can see things we can't. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I when you speak of if they were real, then I would be like, how do you explain old Pizza Bones Jones? You know, the walking skeleton that's made out of pizza crusts and lives in our neighborhood?
Yeah. But Pizza Bones Jones isn't a ghost. What are you talking about? Pizza Bones Jones.
Pizza Bones Jones?
He's a ghost.
Yeah, I knew him when he was alive. He was a fat turd who wouldn't give us his pizza crust. He had a heart attack in his house, and in his very yard, all the pizza crust that he was withholding from us became the skeleton of Pizza Crust Jones, pizza crust that you know as Pizza Bones Jones. Sir, he is animated pizza crusts. And I believe animated by the ghosts of Pizza Bones Jones.
I thought Pizza Bones Jones was just a guy who was made out of pizza crusts. I'm confused. This is a guy who just hangs out in our neighborhood. He's basically a skeleton made out of pizza crust.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you're saying, that was a guy who died?
That was a guy who died, Big Hal. Me and the other neighborhood critters used to hang out in his backyard and watch him order a pizza. And he'd come out in his backyard, he'd shake that box with all them bones left. And he'd just walk out to a dumpster, throw the box in there, lock it up with a padlock.
He locked the dumpster.
And then walk back in his house every single night. And when he saw us, he'd be like, go on, get. And he'd cough this cheesy cough, this phlegmy cough.
Right, yeah, the cheese cough.
And then one day he just don't show up and he don't get no pizza, and turns out he's dead. And then not a week later, while I'm waiting for that dumpster to be unlocked, the city comes, unlocks it, no pizza crust left in that dang dumpster at all. And then all of a sudden, there's an animated Pizza Bone skeleton walking around telling me to get out of his yard. Sure seems like the same feller.
A ghost?
Continuity.
So, a ghost, wow. That's interesting. I had not thought about that. I had not thought about the fact that our good friend Pizza Bones Jones might be a ghost. Yeah. I had not thought about that.
He's nicer in death than he was in life. He's chill now.
Yeah, no, he's super chill. If that's a ghost, I gotta say, he's one of the realest dudes I know.
Yeah.
If he's a ghost.
Could change things for you.
Yeah.
Now, when he was alive, he wouldn't give you one single crust. The other day, he threw me his femur. I got to eat his femur.
I'm going to text Pizza Bones Jones and I'm going to ask him if he's a ghost.
Okay.
And if he tells me he's a ghost, then ghosts are real.
Tight.
All right? So just sending a text to Pizza Bones Jones.
He's in my phone as PBJ.
I have him down as Mr. Jones.
Oh, man. Burying the lead, I'd say. Got a festive name.
Mm-hmm.
What's he saying?
I haven't finished my text to him yet. Sorry, this is actually kind of complicated.
You're like, hey, this is Big Hal. Sorry to bother you. I know you normally sleep at this time.
Well, I said you up.
Yes.
You up.
And now he thinks you're trying to bone.
Yeah. You up. Not trying to bone. You up, not trying to bone.
Which means not trying to get a piece of your crust.
Well, it's easier to get an answer from people if you're texting them late at night. If you go, you up, not trying to bone.
Right.
Because that way they're like, oh, okay, this is just a friendly conversation.
Right.
And then I put, you ghost?
Ooh, I can't wait to see what old Pizza Bones Jones says.
Send. All right. Ooh, I got a ... from Pizza Bones Jones.
He's typing. He's getting all over his goddamn screen.
Which, you know what? That's kind of like a ghost. That's kind of what ghosts are. Is they're like the little ... when you haven't gotten an answer yet.
That's deep.
You know what? I've never thought about that before.
That's deep.
But that little thinking ... on your phone when somebody's typing back, that's a ghost.
You could start
because that's between the answer and the question.
I think you're starting to get it.
But it's an interaction. I am starting to understand ghosts, I think. I'm starting to understand how they might be real. Oh, got an answer from Pizza Bones Jones.
What'd he say?
Ladies and gentlemen, Pizza Bones Jones said that yes, he is a ghost.
There we have it.
And he's one of the realest dudes I know.
There we have it.
You know what? That's amazing.
Tell him I said what's up. Would you?
I mean, I feel bad texting him that much.
Oh yeah, I'll just tell him.
I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, no, I'll text him separate.
I don't want to I don't want to mess up my friendship with Pizza Bones.
Yeah, I get it. It's fragile. Yeah. He's made out of pizza crust. He's
just a cool dude. I don't want to over text him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's tight.
He's real tight. Oh, let me check on the polls that we had going. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so are ghosts real or not? On Facebook, we got 13 votes.
Spooky.
I think we would have gotten more if Mark Zuckerberg had not shadow banned us. But we got 38% ghosts are real, 62% ghosts are not real. Indeed.
Who are you going to believe? The ghost who said he was a ghost or a bunch of humans?
And then over here on Twitter.com, let me pull this up. We have, it's closer. We have 44 votes.
Dang.
And that is 55% ghosts are not real and 45% ghosts are real. So the popular vote and the Electoral College, we'll call Facebook the Electoral College because it's not real.
College students.
And because it's weighted, obviously, because they hate differing viewpoints. It's weighted. We're both shadow banned on there.
Yes.
Facebook, we had sort of a pretty clear majority in the Electoral College that ghosts are not real. And then on Twitter, it's a little closer, 55 to 45, that ghosts are not real. But I'm gonna have to say, the vote that matters in this instance is the vote of the actual ghost. Right. Our good friend Pizza Bones Jones.
I think so.
He's a ghost. So, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Ghosts are real, folks.
The ghost vote is heavier than the living vote.
You know what? I'm going to throw a caveat in there, though. Ghosts are real, but your ghost stories are not.
Okay, I'll give you that.
How about that? Your ghost stories are not real. You were half asleep, or you were in a strange place, or you were in a weird place with weird lighting, and you saw something out of the corner of your eye. And over time, you ultimately decided that was a ghost that you saw, because that's an interesting story, and because we want interesting things to happen in our lives. That, I think, is a bunch of crap. However, the friend that me and this enormous possum have, who's made out of pizza crust, who's real, is an actual real ghost. So that's the answer.
He might be the only ghost.
I think he is the only ghost. But he's real. So ghosts are real. All right. You know what? I never went over to the debate screen for this.
Oh.
But look how great. Look, folks, real quick, just look how nice this debate screen is.
Look at that.
Look at that thing.
Look at that.
What a great little debate screen. Okay. Folks, I think we're done for tonight, aren't we? Do we have anything to plug? Do we have anything to... You got anything coming up? I don't have anything coming up.
No, not personally, sir.
I'm done. I'm done for the time.
Not for a little while. I'm just going to go out and hunting for trash.
Yeah. If you got any trash, throw it out.
Don't be locking it in no dumpster. Guess
Don't
what
lock
happens
it up.
to you? You'll come back as a skeleton made of pizza bones, and people doubt your existence.
That might be cool, though.
Oh, buddy. Ask Pizza Bones Jones if he likes that life.
That's a good question.
I mean, just ask him. I don't know.
I'll text him right now. Does he like being alive? All right, this is the last thing that we'll do tonight. I'm going to text Pizza Bones Jones, do you like being alive? And then we'll be out of here. We'll be out of your hair. So it's 9:15. It's time for us to go. Thank you so much. Every Wednesday night, live here on YouTube. Join us in the chat. Thank you to Jazzarino. Thank you to Jonas Wilson for joining us. I am, of course, Big Hal. This is my good friend, my partner in grime, Mr. Possum. This has been fun. We'll be back next week. We'll be debating another important topic. Pizza Bones Jones. Oh, you're right. Pizza Bones Jones says he does not like being alive.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us this week. Big Howell and Possum. Toot toot.
Toot toot.
Big Howell and Possum.
Toot toot.